All right, good evening, everybody. We're live, episode number 20. This is a very special edition. We have finally concluded this
Hello,
season's
hello. You guys,
electoral. Hey, what's up? What's up?
what's up, nigga? Ay, no puedo decir nigga.
Hey, no, no, no. Never mind.
Elimina esa vaina, marica, elimina esa vaina.
No, never mind. Never mind. I can cut that off. Okay, anyways.
Ya vengo.
We're
Greetings,
nice. We're
guys.
nice.
Yeah, we're
Estamos en
live.
vivo.
Hey guys, how are we doing? So yeah, we're gonna talk about the 2022 Colombian elections. We already got Bitcoin. Hey Bitcoin, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Nice to see you here. We got L Duck here. Oh, I gotta hear this one, and you'll definitely let you know all the deets about it. All right, so what just happened?
Yeah, laugh at our disgrace.
Yeah. All right, so we just had a presidential election between two candidates. This was the runoff. And the leftist candidate, Gustavo Petro, won quite convincingly and against our expectations, at least, against Rodolfo Hernandez, which is kind of like a maverick Trumpian-like candidate. Sorry, Julian. Sorry, I'm going to just mute you because you had a lot of noise there. And so I wanted to bring in this group of Colombians. So we got two from the right and one from the left. And I wanted to let them know, and I just wanted to know their perspectives on the election and what they can expect from a Gustavo Petro candidacy. Now, in all fairness to the winner, and trying to make it ladies first, I want to let Juliana speak first. Juliana, good evening. How are you doing?
Hi,
Hey, it's been a while.
¿cómo están? Tú sabes que yo no me atrevo a hablar tanto en inglés por acá.
Nice como el Bon Ice.
Sí. No, pues, traducimos, dale, no hay problema.
Nice como el Bonais, eso me parece muy bien. Pues nada, feliz porque ganó Gustavo Petro, ganó la vida, ganó el amor y pues estoy muy contenta porque en medio de todo Gustavo Petro tiene bastantes falencias, pero me indica que el diálogo, el discurso progresista está llegando a la mente de muchas personas y eso pues en medio de todo me agrada muchísimo porque es lo que queremos, que todos lleguemos a un consenso para progresar como humanidad.
All right, so what Juliana said there, which she's very happy that Petro won because change won, love won, and now there is a mainstreaming of progressive ideology in the country, and she hopes that this will bring forth a positive change in Colombia. So very progressive talking points, that's understandable. Entonces, Juliana, ¿cuáles son tus expectativas de un gobierno de Petro? So what are your expectations for a Petro government?
Mis expectativas, la verdad, estoy con muchas expectativas porque espero que él ponga una predominancia en los asuntos del medio ambiente, en los asuntos animalistas, en que le ponga atención a muchos asuntos que hemos dejado de lado en el gobierno de Colombia y que cumpla otros tantos como el no al fracking, como legalizar la marihuana, como empezar el camino a legalizar las drogas, de cierto modo para desvalijar el narcotráfico. Eso me parecería maravilloso. Me gusta que no quiere tocar ni siquiera la figura del aborto, porque siente que ya está materializada en Colombia y es como el tema más controvertido en donde los progresistas somos, pues, decimos sí al aborto y él tiene una concepción de no al aborto. Entonces me gusta que no va a tocar ese tema. Bueno, y esperar, tengo expectativas ahorita a corto plazo frente a quienes va a nombrar en su gabinete de gobierno.
Espera, traduzco lo que acabaste de decir. Okay, so she expects very traditionally left-wing policies. So she's very much in favor of banning fracking, environmental concerns, animal rights concerns. And she hopes that he'll be able to bring forth a good policy in this regard. She feels like these areas have been neglected within the government for some time, and so she's happy that he got elected this way. Now she's going to talk about her cabinet and who might be elected there. So Juliana,
She also spoke about legalization of drugs. So she expects that drugs can be legal, so drug trafficking can be stopped and the conflict can be solved in that manner. So she also spoke about that.
yeah, thank you very much. So legalizing marijuana and all that stuff. Entonces, Juliana, ¿qué esperas tú? Perdón, del gabinete, perdón. Eso.
Dime, es que no te escuché bien. Discúlpame.
Te interrumpí para poder traducir y creo que estabas hablando del gabinete de Petro. So Petro's cabinet, what do you expect? ¿Qué esperas?
Espero un equilibrio que sea acorde con sus palabras de pacto. Entonces, él nos plantea a Colombia un discurso en donde incluso la derecha, el centro y la izquierda convivan y de manera conjunta puedan gobernar el país y lleguen a acuerdos en muchas de las propuestas. Entonces, espero que en el gabinete sea bastante, ¿cómo decirlo? Bastante mezclado, diverso, que tenga de todas las alas políticas, que tenga pactos con unos y con otros, me parecería adecuado. Inclusive con personas que hayan trabajado en gobiernos totalmente de derecha, me parecería excelente que él los utilizara, no, los colocara en su gabinete para poder hacer un equilibrio y para poder dar unas garantías que son las garantías que tanto le temen, por un lado, y es lo que tanto pues han sembrado como el miedo dentro de Colombia. Eso me gustaría, a corto plazo, pues.
All right, so Juliana says that she expects a pretty diverse government, actually, and she didn't mean diverse in a racial sense, although that would probably be a plus for her, but diverse in an ideological sense, which is a breath of fresh air, since she would kind of be breaking the trend with other leftists. So she said, yeah, I'm in favor of Petro having a government with left-wingers, centrist right-wingers, even people who formerly worked in right-wing governments. So she would be referring to a Duque government, an Uribe government, so that we can get to work and solve all of the country's issues as one country. And again, as far as I know, this is not a feeling that some Petristas hold, so I'm going to ask her this question. So, Juliana, are you willing, if the situation happens, are you willing to accept Uribe being a sort of political partner of Petro? ¿Estás dispuesta? Okay.
Claro, ¿por qué no? Es que a mí me parece que desde el acuerdo de paz en Colombia se está hablando de un tema que es importantísimo y es que todos podemos hacer un acuerdo, valga la redundancia, para poder convivir sin tener una violencia extrema e interna todo el tiempo. Entonces me parecería increíble, me parecería muy bueno que él hiciera las alianzas necesarias y hiciera pues las conversaciones necesarias y las jugadas necesarias para que por fin se pueda vivir en Colombia tranquilo, que de verdad no haya una polarización, que es lo que tanto estamos viviendo y lo que tanto le critican. Entonces, si Uribe también se quiere unir a eso, pues a mí me dio risa cuando le criticaban el pacto social a Petro, pero a Uribe le dijeron lo de, él dijo que necesitaba todo Colombia necesitaba ¿cómo fue que las palabras que él dijo? ¿Tú te acuerdas, Klaus?
No sé de lo que estás hablando.
Uribe dijo que todo Colombia necesitaba una impunidad, no me acuerdo las palabras. Amnistía general, que son las mismas palabras, son solamente rembombantes, pero realmente son las mismas palabras. Lo que necesita Colombia es volver a iniciar de cero y que haya unas conversaciones para decir, bueno, ya no va a haber más conflicto y nos vamos a basar en organizarnos, en progresar en la economía, en el agro, en la industria, y así pues sacar a Colombia adelante. Entonces, si Uribe, no sé, mañana decidiera sentarse a hablar con Petro para que los petristas y para que los uribistas le bajaran un poco los humos y le bajaran un poco la violencia y pudieran llegar a un acuerdo, y al otro día se sienta con el ELN y hace un acuerdo de paz, me parecería maravilloso en los dos estados, porque Colombia lo necesita. Lastimosamente llegamos hasta eso.
All right, so Juliana's position is that she's willing to forgive the sins of the past in the country. I think this is a bit of an orthodox point of view within the left or Petrismo, because there are some Petristas who are out for blood, but she's more of a reconciliatory tone. And she stated an example of, oh, well, you like to criticize Petro for his pact and who he aligned himself with, but you didn't criticize Uribe for proposing a general amnesty. So people who are, terrorists, indicted of corruption charges, that maybe we should forgive them, start from scratch, like a sort of great reset, and just, all sins are forgiven from here on out. This is a new era, and that type of thing, which actually lends credence to my idea that Uribe is just another leftist, right? I've always said Uribe es otro mamerto más, right? Because I'm that right wing. But thank you, Juliana, for your contributions. Now we're going to go to David. So what are your opinions on this election? How do we not see this victory? Because damn well, I bet like 150,000 pesos in that betting pool, right? And I feel like
that
crap right
was
now.
really funny. Yeah.
I really thought he was going to win. So what do you think about all that?
Everybody did. Well, not everybody, of course, but it was like the polls and everything said that Petro was not gonna win, so it's a surprise for most people, and I see it's a surprise for especially people who have companies, who have some assets in Colombia. I see a lot of panic in the entrepreneurial sector of Colombia, and I also see a lot of panic in older people. This is how it has happened before. I mean, most young people have voted for the change that Petro represents, because it's a change, of course, a change of course, a change of politics, a change of economic direction. It's a big change for Colombia. We have to state that first. The second thing that we have to say is that Petro represents a political current that has been already applied in other countries in Latin America. Petro represents, he was one of the main advisors of Chavez in his first years as a president. He was in Boric's, Chile's president, possession, like a few months ago. He's very aligned with the leftist politics in Latin America, especially, for example, today, Pedro Castillo, the president of Peru, has already congratulated Petro for winning the election in a very, in a true fraternal way. They talk as if they were brothers in a fight that they have been doing for a long time, and I agree that they should be happy if if somebody of their own political view has won in Colombia, because that means they won't have capital fleeing. I don't know how to say it, but I think what we will see right now is that many capitals will flee from Colombia, and those capitals
flights, yeah.
Capital flights, yes, those capitals which were going to flee or fly away from Peru and Chile that could land in Colombia are not going to land in Colombia. That's a bit bad for Colombia. I have to state this also with all sadness, is that most of the capital markets that work in Colombia are based on our commodities. Our commodities are very important for the economy. Our capital markets are based basically, for example, like Ecopetrol, ISA, and many other important shares that roll in our capital markets are going to be
Hello.
Hello? Oh, I think we lost David. We lost
David had
David.
a problem, no?
David had a problem indeed.
soon.
That okay,
No, no,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, you cut off there, David. I'm sorry.
Our big
Sorry.
comeback.
Sorry. What I was saying is that even if most capitals from Peru and Chile are not coming here, I think it's an opportunity for many investors to come to Colombia because um, many stocks are losing value very fast because of the panic that Petro generates with his political and economical policies. But what we will see in the next 2 years is that the economic cycle will not end with Petro. I mean, as long as it doesn't touch the exportation and the exploration of petrol, of oil, and he will not also touch in the first years at least the carbon, he will not be as dangerous as people think he is. So in 2023 and 2024, what we will see is that the capital markets will stabilize at least until he does what he promised to do. Hopefully, he won't. So what we're expecting right now is a recovery of the markets in the next 2 years at least, and this is an opportunity for many American investors and all over the world investors to um, bring capitals to Colombia, bring money to Colombia to invest on these markets that will bounce back very soon. That's what I see. Also, what I think about the presidential elections as well is that we will take a change, of course, to the left wing. It's undeniable, but it's also true that Colombia will have has a Congress that Petro doesn't have majorities. So what we right now can see is that he will face a tough opposition in Congress, and this will mitigate most of the impact that he can cause to the economy. Also, he has stated, and I believe that he will not stay for more than 4 years. And I think that he has to comply with that promise because also the army in Colombia is very oriented to the right wing. So what we can see here is that he won't be able to generate the negative impacts that he promised to do. I think also what we can expect from this government is a wide consensus on many basic, many fundamental policies that have made Colombia better in the past. He talks about Alvaro Gomez. Alvaro Gomez was a very important political figure in the 90s. He was murdered for these ideas, but he managed to put his imprint as well as the political movement that created Petro as a political figure, which was the M19 guerrilla, which was part of amnesty that was created under the Samper and Gaviria government. And I think he will comply with that as well. I hope that he will do that. An agreement on fundamentals. That's what it's called. It's a political doctrine created to reach agreements between two very different political postures. I think that's what we can expect for now. That I hope he will comply. Hopefully, what Juliana says is true. I seriously believe that he will try to do that in order to reach governability, in order to reach majorities in Congress, in order to be able to provide his electors, his voters, what he promised, and is huge reforms. And he needs to reach consensus to do that. Because I repeat, he does not have the army, he does not have the Congress on his side. So what he can do is to reach consensus on Congress to achieve something better, something significant, to achieve political change, true political change. So I hope that in this view of things, many investors from all over the world will bring capitals to take advantage of advantage of the dropping of many shares and many variables that are right now in Colombia losing value because of the panic that Petro generates. This political consensus also will mitigate those negative impacts, and I hope and I believe that Colombia will bounce back from this. And I think that Petro will provide also many favorable changes for vulnerable people and poor people who had very important damages that they took very important damages during the pandemic. So that's my political view on Petro being elected as president.
Cool. So before we segue into Alejandro, so I wanted to bring it back to you, Juliana. So my question here is, he's very clearly, there's things that he can't do, like he will be restricted by. I'm not sure if he'll be able to stop exploiting oil. So what do you guys do then? Do you protest the Congress? Do you protest him? Like what happens when he can't govern? What are you guys going to do if he just doesn't have approval or consensus from them? O sea, ¿qué pasa ahí cuando, como dice David, no tiene gobernabilidad? O sea, ¿a quién le van a echar la culpa? ¿O qué van a hacer? Perdón.
Yo pienso que siempre se le... no importa si es Petro o es el que sea. Yo soy fiel a que el pueblo es el que ordena. Los políticos, lastimosamente, en Colombia piensan que el pueblo es el que tiene que estar arrodillado todo el tiempo hacia ellos y tiene que ser al contrario. Entonces yo creo que este es un buen paso para Colombia, no solamente para demostrarle a la izquierda, a la derecha, perdón, a la derecha que si ya que ellos hicieron las cosas mal durante tanto tiempo, el pueblo se las cobró y se las cobró mostrando una reducción del abstencionismo de una manera grande, porque se redujo 6% el abstencionismo. 6% es, en Colombia, es harto, es mucho. Y eso le dio un cachetadón a los políticos y les advirtió de buena manera que si ellos no responden, pues el pueblo se va a unir para sacarlos. Esto creo que lo tiene que tener en cuenta también Gustavo Petro y debe ser fiel a sus palabras de cumplirle al pueblo, de que él tiene que ser el arrodillado hacia el pueblo. Y por eso mismo pienso que fue su última jugada de contrátenme para ser su presidente y esto, porque él es consciente de que el pueblo ya se dio cuenta de ello. Y asimismo, espero y asumo que el pueblo, si ve errores dentro de Gustavo Petro, pues al igual que le protestaron a Duque, pues se rebelen contra él también. Así de simple. Si hay algún tipo de error garrafal, pues suceda lo mismo que en el 2020 con el estallido social. Nos unamos para demostrarle a Petro que lo intentamos con él y tampoco sirvió, pero el hecho de que él haya sido elegido no es el único, pues, que pueda ser elegido.
All right, so Juliana here is saying that she promises to take him into account. Because the left elected him, that doesn't make them their messiah. She says Colombian presidents need to understand that they bow down before the people and not the other way around, and that's how it should be. That's pretty much generally what she's saying. So, and she even stated, like, if Petro is not willing to comply with his electoral promises or is administering the country poorly, they will go out on the streets as they did with... pero eso fue en el 2021, en el 2020. No me acuerdo que el estallido fue en el
2021, sí, tienes toda la razón.
Yeah, and as people did in 2021 against Duque. Pero espero que no dañen nada esta vez, ¿no? Porque no me gustó cuando dañaron antes. las cosas y espero que tampoco
Lo que
vayan.
pasa es que, bueno, eso es otra discusión y eso tú y yo lo habíamos discutido dentro del canal la vez pasada. Y es que las masas son difíciles de controlar, de todas formas. Y de todas formas siempre pueden haber personas inescrupulosas dentro de ello. Entonces, así como tuviste desmanes en todo Colombia, yo estuve en varias marchas en donde no se rompió nada. El SMAT no se movió, no hubo gases, no hubo violencia, no hubo... Yo marché muchas veces y dentro de las marchas no pasó nada. Entonces, digamos que sí, no. Ahí puedo ser un poco fajardista, puedo ser un poco tibia.
La tibia. Right. So I just warned Juliana, like, okay, I didn't like when you guys burn shit down, protesting Duque, and I really hope you guys don't do it against Petro, even if that would be politically advantageous for us, because we kind of show that as an example of, see, like, this is the left wing still. And then she kind of said, well, the masses, some people can just get out of hand, and things happen. But on most protests that she went to, she saw no problem, no need to bring in SWAT. People were just rightfully exercising the right to protest. That's not necessarily what I saw, but let's agree to disagree. All right, so I'm gonna bring it to Alejandro. Um, I wanted to ask you a couple of things related to the coast because I know you're costeño, and so I just wanted to ask you what happened in the coast. Why did so many people go out to vote for Petro? I thought that the chars would be able to kind of like help us out a little bit.
No, I know what happened there. I think that was Francia Marquez. That happened.
En
I
la costa?
don't know. I don't know, Clau. It's hard to say because I think, for example, char is very popular in in Barranquilla, but in the rest of the coast, is a relative unknown politic. ¿Me entiendes bien, Klaus?
Yeah, he's relatively unknown as a politician. Sí, no lo conoces muy bien.
Yes,
Afuera de...
and in the no, pero I think the many people in the country had in the coast had a very resentimiento
Resentment.
Resentment.
with the political class and the average at the average political, and I think this moment is a opportunity to revenge, porque I some I scared no I concerned about the speech of Petro because in sometimes sound like I don't know a revenge, we are like strike back como un contraataque.
Yeah, counterattack.
Yes, for the status quo. I don't know.
Es una expresión
In
latina.
¿Ah?
En inglés.
¿Cómo?
No le escucha.
Status quo can be applied in English as well because it's Latin.
Yeah. Bueno, no sé. And I think the cause is I don't know what I see both for Petro because many part of the coast are uh, forgot for Bogota, for the interior of the country, and Petro know the correct way to speak with the people. And I say again, Char is very popular in Barranquilla in the moment to win the alcaldía mayor, be the
The
mayor or
mayorship.
the mayorship of this city. But in many city it's very corruption. But I but it's curious because some some families, no, we had the problem. We had a very family that use the political powers for own interesting and and some family salieron, ¿no? Salieron con Petro,
They allied with Petro.
they allied with Petro, and I think many people eh, votó movida por eso, por el resentimiento, más allá de cualquier razón.
They voted resentfully, not really with much reason. And actually,
Yes.
now that you mention, now that you mention that, wait, let me see.
Hay dos David Rodríguez. Se fue,
No,
Klaus.
yes. So yeah, I wanted to ask you about that as well, because from the election results, I noticed that, as you said, the interior of the country, not including Bogota, of course, voted for Rodolfo Hernandez, but the borderlands, right? So like bordering Venezuela, bordering Ecuador, around the coasts. I saw that that's where Petro won. So like the narrative was Petro ganó el voto de los nadies y las nadies, right? The forgotten ones. And that's why. So is there much credence to that? Or because I've also heard allegations that indigenous people in Cauca were forced to vote for Petro. They mobilized them and they forced them to vote for Petro. What do you think about that?
Me lo preguntas a mí.
Sí.
No, como decía, el discurso de los nadie, de nobody, the forget people, are very strong. The vice president is the correct way to say it.
Vice President.
Vice president. The vice president is a woman to the one of the more poor region in the country. I think Petro was very smart to use this speech, where I am going to help these people. The normal, the average political don't care about you, but I am the man who going to work for you and right. Sorry.
Right. So he was appealing to them.
Espérate un segundo.
Yeah, so what Alejandro is saying is that he appealed to them. I saw a couple of exit polls that showed, for example, in Timbiquí, I think it went like...
perdón, estaba revisando el celular. Perdón, lo siento, Klaus.
So in Timbiquí, which is... Where is Timbiquí exactly? Is it in Cauca? Or is it in Chocó?
Chocó.
In Chocó. Okay, so Timbiquí, they voted for like 90% in favor of Petro. Which is a huge margin. That is a huge margin. All right, so as Alejandro is answering a phone call, it's one of the Greek. Checho, how's it going, bro?
Yo. All good, bro. Just reading an essay right now on Machiavelli.
My man reading Machiavelli out here after the election. I see you.
Yeah. Gotta analyze and criticize these people, man.
So, Checho, can we really even trust democracy at this point for us who are not on the left?
Well, I would say that there is a non-traditionalist argument that was done many years ago by Jacques Ellul and by Uncle Ted, if you know who I am referring to. The thing is that with technology and the expansion of the masses, with the creation of the TV, the radio, and mass media, you're not talking about people or individuals anymore. You're talking about masses. You're talking about people shakers. You're talking about a conglomerate of persons that is malleable. You're not talking about individuality right now. So the things that with this advent of this new technology that happened in the 20th century, you don't know the candidates anymore, their proposals, their family. You only know an image of them. You only know what they want you to know about them. So there is not a real control that used to happen, because if you're in a small town, more or less a 2,000 people town, you know the people, you know their family, you know their parents, their grandparents. There is like a social control that is very near and very tight on them, that happened here in Colombia in the 19th century, in the 18th century, that we don't have anymore because of mass media. And that is why I tell that you shouldn't trust democracy, in the sense that it is unknowable. And it is not unknowable in the sense that you cannot know it, but in the epistemological sense, that it is impossible for you to know every aspect of the party, of every candidate, and of their own history. So I would say that it is impossible to trust because it is impossible for it to be controlled. You can control what you don't know, and you don't know because there is too much information. And the normal person does not have the time, the energy to look for every candidate and every party. So that would be like my best argument against democracy.
Do you think it's time for us on the right, on the hard, maybe hard right, I don't know what you want to call it. Do you think it's time for us to actually get serious about parallel societies and parallel institutions and that type of thing? Because I've talked about that before, mostly on OG's channel, about not having to rely so heavily on the political process, because none of us are in control of it, right? We're just the average everyday Colombian. So is it time for us to like go harder, like in church, building communities, charity, that type of thing? Like, is this a wake up call for us to kind of go that way?
I think, yeah, I do think like that. I think that the true way and the best way to end the modern state in its administrative phase, which is what we have right now, that by state policy they market the incentives, the economic movement, so that there are people going for certain tendencies. The best way to fight that is to build communities, to have families, to know your cousins, to know your neighbors, to work together, to build a true political community. In which sense, you can see, especially in the US, that the State Department or the ministries, that they are going full blown on LGBT stuff, or they are going on, I don't know, trans agenda, because they are allocating resources and money, and they are trying to modulate the society on their own public policies. I think that the best way to counter that is to move in an interconnected way, not alone, because the individual alone cannot do very much, to be honest, but to interconnect parishes, interconnect people, interconnect families, clans, tribes. You know, Aristotle said in in La Politica, the politics, that the best way that a society can be formed itself is from the family, the tribes, the clans, and then comes the city state to build a political community. So I think that the best way to destroy the state, which is the ultimate goal of a libertarian and of a traditionalist, the modern state, right, is to build a hard and to build a tight network of relationships between individuals that can react, can respond, and can flourish across times. You see this with the Amish in the US, right? You see this with the Pashtuns in Afghanistan. You see this with indigenous peoples here in Colombia, in Sierra Nevada, Cancuamos, Arhuacos. You see this with with what is going on in the Protestant little towns in the South in the U.S. So it is a very good way to counteract the action of the state to build stronger communities with great networks that can help itself and can expand all over the place as a parallel to the state.
All right, sounds very interesting. And I definitely concur with you on a lot of what you said. Alejandro, are you still with us? Alejandro?
Yes.
Yeah,
I hear
so
you.
if I'm not mistaken, you supported Fajardo in the first round, right?
Yes.
And we kind of realized what happened with him. And I wanted to ask you, because you appear to be a centrist, right? Was it del centro?
No, but I support the centro because I think are the is the less corruption. Fajardo is the only political that I really support, but it's not for ideology. It's more for no tengo por qué más votar.
Right, you have no one else for. So, can we finally say that centrism is dead in Colombia? Considering that it had a short lifespan, I don't think centrismo had much of an appeal in the binary that we have, because it was you're either Uribista or anti-Uribista, and with Petro being elected, it's now you're either Petrista or anti-Petrista. Do you think there's any chance for the El Centro to continue existing here?
Sorry, you can repeat. Sorry.
Do you think there's any chance that the political center will continue to exist in Colombia, or are we going to divide ourselves even further?
I don't know. I think the center in Colombia only vote for this election, because one a part of the society say, "Ah, no, I am going to Petro." Other side go to Uribe, but many people really don't. In reality, don't want Petro or Uribe, and I think the centro is only a reaction, for the ¿cómo se diría se me olvidó el nombre, polarización, ¿cómo se diría?
Polarization.
Polarization, polarize.
I think the center only was a reaction for the polarization, but I think in the future, this political don't go don't go don't have too many options in the future. I think Rodolfo Hernandez had absorbió al centro, ¿no? It's in the last hours. I think this the man who can uh, unify, no, unificar.
Right.
Can unify all the people that really don't want support Petro or Uribe. But I think, for be honest, I think the centro, no sé, no don't have a several mistake. I think was a victim of the Petro, and this woman Isabel Zuleta tried to attack Fajardo, and Fajardo was a man who had to victim of many attacks for the other police. I think more than a mistake, I think was a victim of the
Right. O sea,
of the
no era su
election.
tiempo. No
No,
era su tiempo ahora. Será
y
un
creo que
próximo tiempo.
no, for be honest, o sea, I told you I really support Fajardo. It's the only political I really support, but I think they don't have another opportunity to the president. I think is the if Fajardo can in this can on this opportunity, for me it's very hard that in the future have other opportunity. I think, I don't know, Carlos Amaya puede ser eh, could be a man in the future can darle al centro como otro aire, ¿no?
Sí, sí. For those who don't know, Carlos Amaya is a member of the Green Party, and the Green Party is a little different in Colombia. They're actually quite centrist, and Carlos Amaya is this kind of like traditional guy. He's a farmer's advocate, right? He advocates for farmers and all the farmer stuff, like Monsanto and the land rights and better investment in el campo. So we'll definitely see. Yeah, because I don't think that the political center is going to exist very long, at least in the short to medium term. Especially with Fajardo making such a play of him voting for nobody in the runoff. You saw him in Medellin con el voto el blanco ahí, and everyone kind of booed him, and so really nobody likes him nowadays. The right doesn't like him, the left doesn't like him. It's going to be difficult for people in the center to kind of have an identity, because definitely from this day on, we are more polarized than ever. Make no mistake about that. We are more polarized, right? I am going to be anti-Petrista till the day I die. Obviously, I don't support any of the social leftism or economic leftism that he proposes. And and I would find it very difficult to agree with someone who is in the middle between me and that, because I feel like they're always going to go to the left and just kind of betray me. All right, so one
Klaus,
more, senor.
I believe that the victory of Petro going to revive the polarization.
Yeah, it's definitely going to repolarize us for sure. That's why I was hoping for Rodolfo to win, because I think we would have cooled off with the anti-uribismo, anti-petrismo.
We can tell you wanted Rodolfo to win. Yeah, we can tell. Actually, to all the viewers, actually, I have to make a motion here. We made a poll paying 10,000 pesos. It's a small amount. Each one making one prediction.
It's not a poll.
One
it's called a betting poll.
betting poll.
Como
Okay.
poll.
Okay, a betting poll. Okay, so we're making a betting poll in which each one of the participants had to bet 10,000 pesos, and they had to choose or to predict a difference between the two main candidates. Each one of us made one, maximum two bets. This guy made 15 bets on Rodolfo Hernandez, and he was the big loser in that betting pool. It was really funny.
Yeah, I lost like 150,000 pesos, bro. And a Petrizo won it, so like I felt even more burned, bro.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Burned me out, bro. Yeah. All right, so final question for all of you guys, and then afterwards you guys can leave if you want. I'll just stay here reading the comments. So, what do you think is going to happen to the dollar a week from now? Brief answer. I'm going to start with Alejandro. So, what do you think the dollar is going to do this week?
This week, I think going to the sky. No. I think going to for 4,500 pesos más o menos.
So you think the dollar is going to go to 4,500 pesos?
I think it's impossible to say now, but I think the dollar going to subir going to height, going to be high.
Yeah.
All right, Alejandro says 4,500. Juliana, what do you think the dollar is going to look like on Friday night?
Could be happening, but I think that we have to wait because it's too early to talk about it. I'm sorry. I
penso que
I live in Brazil. I'm so sorry.
Minha opinião é que o peso só vai subir uns 700 pesos. Não vai subir muito.
Se você quiser, eu posso falar em português.
Eu não tenho nenhum problema com isso.
Eu não tenho problema.
Fio. Um vídeo colombiano, não um vídeo brasileiro. Fala espanhol o inglés.
Es que ustedes, discúlpenme, es que de verdad yo estoy leyendo en español, estoy en cosas de acá en portugués y les estaba hablando en inglés. Por eso
Pues se le desenreda el cerebro. A uno se le linkea y en el tiempo se le desenreda.
Se le linguó las trabas.
Yo le dije a Klaus que me tradujera. Qué pena con ustedes. Entonces yo creo que, bueno, les está diciendo, yo creo que es muy temprano para decir eso. Yo creo que tenemos que esperar mañana cómo amanecen las cosas, qué decisiones se toman dentro de la bolsa, tanto la bolsa colombiana como la bolsa de Nueva York. Y esperar, es muy temprano. Puede el dólar llegar a los 4.500, pero pienso que así como puede llegar a los 4.500, dentro de la misma semana se puede estabilizar.
Pero danos un número, así una cifra para decir, no, va a estar a 4.000, o mejor dicho, hasta va a bajar, dime, así con así todo crazy, todo, para llenar.
Sí, así no se puede, tenemos que esperar, esperemos mañana cómo amanecemos.
Ay, póngale, hagamos otra polla con la...
¿Cuánto va
una polla de apatía de Klaus, por favor.
Tibia, tibia.
Lo va a meter en rehab. We're gonna get Klaus on rehab on betting.
Una polla sobre el precio del dólar. Primera semana de...
We're
Bueno,
gonna get
Yo la
Klaus
pongo
on rehab.
a 4.200. Que
4,200.
máximo llega
Alright.
a 4.200.
All right, so
Máximo.
Alejandro says 4,500. Julian says 4,200. David, what do you say?
Listen, I think
5,000.
Juliana is right on something. Even if dollar goes up a lot, that it's only natural it will happen. I mean, the proposal on oil is disastrous for our economy and especially for our exchange rate. I think that we will have an stabilization in the next 4 to 5 months. I do agree on that, and I seriously hope that. I mean, especially when he cannot do what he proposed to do as fast as he wants it to do and as his followers want him to do that. Especially because I think that many exploration contracts are right now on vigor. They're working right now,
David,
and
just give me a
also
number, bro. It's a quick answer, bro. What's your number?
no,
What's
no,
the
no. I
prediction,
mean,
bro?
my answer is the same as Juliana: 4,200, four
All
thousand
right,
five hundred. I mean,
all right.
but
No,
it
y
will stabilize. It
además
will
de
stabilize
eso,
right later.
qué
Keep that
pena,
in mind,
David.
American investors, please. Don't leave us. Don't do this to us.
Sorry,
Please, we will
sorry.
change. We promise we will change.
Eh, sorry, David. I have to add. No, no, marica, estoy pensando en los tres idiomas. No puedo con los tres idiomas. Por favor, déjenme en español. Por favor, déjenme en español.
Bueno.
Cuando
I have
aprendes
to
el cuarto
add.
es más rápido. Cuando aprendes el cuarto te desenredas. Te lo digo yo.
I have to add. No, tenemos que agregarle a eso la fluctuación de los mercados y que hay otros factores mucho más importantes a nivel mundial en este momento que también se están mirando, como que en estos días, ayer, antier y hoy, bajaron los precios del petróleo a nivel mundial. Entonces, no, las acciones del petróleo a nivel mundial. Entonces, no solamente tenemos que ver el ámbito político, sino también, pues hay otros factores que van a afectar, obviamente. Entonces, yo creo que es un poco apresurado, pero de todas formas me mantengo en ese techo y pienso que dentro de la semana se puede otra vez estabilizar.
All right, so Julian was talking about so there's some
Acho que
external
o
factors.
dólar
Okay.
vai disparar. Cometimos um erro terrível.
Checho, what's your prediction? What's your number?
Well, my prediction is really easy. What Juliana is saying, well, she says it really with a really good criteria. I would say that right now there's one good thing that the right can take from this, and is that there's gonna be a very very bad decade economically because of well high inflation, because what is going on with the rise of China, a bad government in the U.S. So the leftist government is gonna take the L economically, and everyone is gonna blame them. So there is a good way so we can attack them, not just as a means of our ideology, but in our economics too. So I would say that this is basically the thumb of the left here in Colombia. The best thing that could happen to the right is for the left to win, so that they can perform their own show and they can be the center of the laughter of everyone in the world. I would say that the dollar is gonna go to 4,200 pesos by next week. I think that Petro is making a lot of concessions. He says that they need to speak with Uribe, that they need to make a great alliance for Colombia, that he wants to talk with Fico, he wants to talk with El Ingeniero, Hernandez, that he wants to talk with everyone. And he's showing that he wants governability because he knows he's very isolated and he's not on a political party like the Liberal, the Conservative Party, or the Centro Democrático, but that he is a political movement. He's the leader of a political movement. And as of that, it is very effervescent and it can go away really easily. So he's making moves right now so he can try to conciliate, try to sell out basically his ideals for him to govern. And I think that that will be the end of the hardcore Petrismo, and that will blow him away because he's gonna make a ton of concessions to the right, and the right is gonna basically stab him on the next elections because of the bad political and economic decisions.
All right, so yeah, two predictions 4,200 and two predictions 4,500. I'm gonna go a little pessimistic and say probably 4,700. Just 'cause I guess I'm a gambling man now. I guess officially, so I might as well just go high rolling. So thank you very much, guys, for coming. I think I pretty much asked you guys everything I wanted to ask you. If you want to leave, you're more than welcome to. I might just stay here and read the comments. I would really hope to see you guys some other time. I know for sure, David and Alex, I do want to talk to you guys personally on the channel, just discuss other things in general, not so much the election. And you as well, Juliana, because like ultimately we never really had a good discussion about like patriarchy versus feminism and stuff like that. We had it on Noel's channel, but I think we wanted to, that's it. Besitos, besitos, yes. So you already know. So you know what I'm saying? Like, not like no, I feel you. Like, I like to, because you're like, tú eres la petista más razonable de todos. Entonces, like, puedo hablar contigo, hay discusión.
Más chimbita, más...
Sí, aunque a veces sí me saca la piedra con esos trinos tan, ay no, a veces tengo que responderle las bobadas que dice, pero bueno, así es la democracia, así es la libertad de expresión.
Así es, que iban las libertades. Gracias, Klaus, por invitarme. Como siempre, un beso, un abrazo fuerte. Y me encanta hablar de estos temas tan variados. Y otra cosa, lo del petróleo es solamente uno de los temas que va a afectar el dólar, porque también nos viene lo de pues la atacada de la consecuencia de lo de Ucrania y Rusia, con el estancamiento de los transportes de la comida. Entonces, esperemos que...
Le tocó la presidencia, le tocó una presidencia mal tiempo, sí, toca admitirlo, ¿no?
Sí.
Gracias a Dios. Así se una mal presidente.
Yo pienso que a Petro le entregan, es como usted se vio la película colombiana del caracol, la estrategia del caracol.
Más o menos, sí.
Al final entregan una pared con una casa pintada y dicen, aquí está su hijo, la casa. Así le entregaron a Petro el país. Aquí está su hijo, país. Entonces,
es que el piro de Duque sí hizo mal esa pandemia, güey, pero bueno, ya no.
Güey.
No, o sea,
está creciendo a un ritmo agigantado.
No, o sea,
growing beautifully. I hope he doesn't.
No, Klaus, me tengo que ir.
Hágale.
Súper chévere todo, divertidísimo. No hablaba inglés desde la universidad. Sorry por my mal pronunciation.
Sorry for my Monday English.
Beautiful. Alejo, you made a beautiful effort.
Sorry for my Monday English.
I'm really proud.
Sorry for Monday. No, mentira, no, estamos hablando.
Aleluya, se cuida.
Disculpen por mis lapsus brasileños, ya me estoy acostumbrando más al portugués que a las demás.
No, it's entendible. Nah, I just have it because like he locked down the economy, bro, and like I'm super libertarian. I don't even want to talk about COVID because like YouTube terms of service and like so we'll have that discussion some other day. But he's done some good stuff like green energy and like Diaz y Niva. So like I gotta give Duque his props, but it's a new era, bro. So yeah. So hope to see you guys on the next one. Y Juliana, if I need to talk to you about something, please. Acéptame la propuesta para ver si... Es que a veces yo te estaba invitando todos los días, bla, bla, antes de las elecciones, quiero ver tu perspectiva, aunque al fin nunca podemos concordar porque estabas como muy ocupada.
Lo que pasa es que cuando me empecé a instalar acá en Brasil fue un video, porque yo estoy a 2 horas más de Colombia y yo viviendo en Brasil tenía que trabajar en Colombia, entonces se me corría la vida. Pues discúlpame, pero ya tengo un poco más de tiempo y igual en este momento son las 11 de la noche acá, entonces nada, pero yo estoy feliz de acompañarte acá cuando quieras. Un besito, un abrazo.
Okay, eso okay, so let me see. Let me see. Read some comments, bro. Just a lot of crazy ass comments. A stand up says, "Bro, dictatorship is probably the only way at this point." La limpieza. It's crazy. Grandmaster Troll says it seems like the United States has indoctrinated some way, somehow, through the Colombian school system. Their ideals, same thing might be happening in El Salvador. By legalizing marijuana, it's going to put people in a particular mindset. It's going to dumb them down and mellow them out. It will be easier to indoctrinate them with propaganda and conspiracy theories. Bitcoin says America owns Colombia. It's a puppet government. Then Grandmaster Scholl says, I bet African Americans are happy to see a black vice president, and now they're going to feel entitled to say, you see, we got a black woman there. Because he's criticizing this whole diversity stuff from the United States. María nos saludó, saluda a todos. And then Salvatrucha says, están hechos paste. Colombia se convertirá en Venezuela. Colombia will come into Venezuela. And then he says, I recommend you get your papers and have a current visa. These are going to get bad. Let me see. And then he says, están salados. Latinoamérica se fue full zurdo. Compañeros, esto se arruinó. Abandonen barco, amigues. And this is the thing that concerns me a lot. Grandmaster Scholl says, did you hear that freak of nature Vice President Francia yell out that they're going to end the patriarchy? Yeah, the social elements I'm extremely concerned with. There's a lot of BLM and radical feminism stuff from the vice president. I have no idea how we're going to deal with that. And then Grandmaster Scholl has a conspiracy theory, says, I know, and also I know for sure that African Americans are behind this. They're setting things up. This is why a lot of them are moving to Mexico and other parts of Latin America. Salvatrucha says, the whole continent is done. Throw it in the trash. And Doctor says, Petro and the lesser Latin American left are progressive neolibs. In contrast to the Latin American right, who are conservative neolibs. Calm down because it's more of the same, really.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right.
More the same to this table, please.
To be honest, I think that this is a great movement because right now, just think about it. If the right won, then they will have to face the political disruption, the economic impossibilities that we have right now with inflation, we have right now with the chain of value that we have with China rising. So it is better for the left to take the L, to take the bad moment, so that we can point our fingers at them and tell them, hey, maybe your policies, maybe your government was not as good as you planned to, and we are going to make a better right, more traditionalist right. It is a good time to react, and that way, I think that we can unite ourselves, or that we can make a more ideological, more concentrated right than we have right now, to separate ourselves from Uribismo, that I would think is the best for us right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a time for reflection. I think Uribismo has done some good things. I will defend President Uribe, mostly because it makes Petristas mad, to be honest. And there's some good things he did, but we definitely need to look past that. Because it's been about 20 years of that political legacy, and I think it's time for something fresh. I mean, this happened in the United States in 2016 with Donald Trump. People were tired of the neocons. People were tired of the old Republican establishment. They wanted something new, and Trump won pretty bigly in that election. 2020, that's a whole different ballgame. But it kind of shows that you do need some dynamism in your politics. You can't be the same old. I mean, even the left is not the same old left. You don't have those old school Che Guevara types. Now people on the left are intersectional and they care about LGBTQ stuff and minorities and all this stuff. Like they changed. And so, yeah, as you said, we also kind of need to change with the times, not to adapt to them. Well, if anything, to reject their premises even more, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that type of political theorizing. But yeah, that's kind of the important stuff that you. All right. So,
Klaus, if I may, I want to make a closing statement on this.
Sure.
What I wanted to say today is basically that, and I agree with Juliana and many other patriots and many other people from the left wing in Colombia, is that the exchange rate will stabilize. Also, the stock exchange will stabilize. We need to transmit some calm into the investors and the stakeholders of this country. So we need people to stay calm, think with a cold head. Petro had to do many concessions in the process of becoming president. So um, don't take decisions on a hot head. Wait until the right moment to invest in Colombia, and please do. Please continue investing. This is the most important thing for us right now because we have a vibrant economy. We have a very fast growing economy, and this won't change for the change of president, especially because it depends on many other factors that are not even political, like the price of oil, the price of carbon, and the economic cycle that is benefiting Colombia in a very important way. I mean, inflation in the United States is only benefiting Colombia because we export many of the goods that you consume there, coffee and flowers, and especially energy, carbon, oil, everything I just said. So thank you for believing in Colombia still. I think we can have a country to save. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, thank you for coming, all of you guys. I think it was a great discussion. We're gonna close it there. I might stream tomorrow or some other day. We'll see. We'll definitely bring some of these guys later individually to talk about them about other stuff. You know, these guys have a lot of cool, interesting things to say about Colombia and just life in general. So I definitely look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next one. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Take care.
See you,
Peace.